Hey, Brian Gallagher here from Mega Academy, and welcome to our YouTube channel. We have had a great time for the last couple of years expanding and growing our podcast, and now I am proud to say that our YouTube channel, which has been around for a while, where we've been throwing up good content for people over time, is taking a new format. We have a producer in Rachel, and Rachel's producing this live YouTube channel for you and your benefit in a very organized, concise, and applicable manner. And that's kind of like what our brand has come to be, is that if you listen to anything we do on our podcast, or if you come and spend time, which I greatly appreciate and value, and am very appreciative of the idea that you're going to spend time here with us on our YouTube channel, that you're absolutely going to walk away with workable solutions, workable tools, actual things that you can do something about the very next day. So without any further ado, let's get into this week's topic. I am going to be doing several clips on startups. Okay, so this is my first clip on startups. You can do them in any order whatsoever. So I'm thinking of a 5-part series, if you will. But again, they can be in any order whatsoever. So this version of what you should think about if you're looking to start your private practice is going to be the thought, the pre-startup, the pre-action list, so to speak. I find a lot of PTs are working in private practice. They're thinking about opening up their own practice. You're running into things that you don't like where you are now. Just last week, I was talking to somebody who said, yeah, my owner was restricting what I could do and, trying to force me to use particular codes as opposed to just evaluating my patients, writing my plan of care, and delivering my appropriate volume of interaction or appropriate volume of care per engagement. Now, we all have metrics to live by, so don't get me wrong. I'm not down on the metrics idea. I do think we all have to be clinically efficient, and I think we all have to be clinically productive. But we can't be working in an environment where the employer is dictating to us how we do our plan of care, how we should choose or what we should choose to do with our patients. That is our discretion as licensed therapists. So maybe that's one of your bugaboos why you're looking to open up private practice. Maybe you've always wanted to open up a private practice. Maybe it's the financial freedom and the financial stability of running and owning your own business, whether it be PT or anything else. There is just greater stability and flexibility when you're in control of your own ship, right? It just stands to reason. So many of you have been thinking about that, but you don't know where to start. You absolutely don't know where to start. So here's where you can start. The very first thing is start by thinking with what does it take to be a successful owner? Not in what you need to do. We can all hustle. But what does it take in terms of how we need to think about things, process things, go into the approach of things to be a successful owner? So here's 3 things that you can start working on mentally and getting your core philosophy in line with. Principle number 1, first principle, do not be emotionally connected to money. If you're going to go into private practice, you're going to feel for the first year, there is way more money flowing away from you than flowing towards you. Now, with that said, 90% of all of our private practice owners are break even within the first 3 to 6 months. And it typically only takes about 45 visits a week for you to do that. So this isn't as steep of a climb as you might think, but you have to be prepared to spend money to make money. Do not be emotionally connected to money. That's my big message. I want to leave with that. Bullet point number 2, planning and programming. Sit down and learn what is the average reimbursement rate in your area. What's the neighborhood look like? What's the conditions in terms of competition? Just start building an Excel spreadsheet on the environment, right? So the data on the environment, how much are we getting reimbursed? What's the, maybe you're in a clinic in that market now. What's the demographics like? Are you 30% Medicare, 50% Medicare, and so on? How much competition is in the area? Now, I'm never worried about other physical therapy private practices. It's an even playing field. Best guy wins. Not even worried about physician-owned. They're only going to send to themselves anyways. I worry mostly about the hospital-controlled systems because they're, as far as I'm concerned, extremely unethical in their practice, their business practices, and they will limit the doctor's ability to allow the patients the right to choose, which in my book is completely unethical. So you need to be weary of that because that can kind of impact you in some bad ways. Usually I'm looking at that in certain parts of the country. So depending on where you are, if you want to talk about that, reach out to me and we'll talk about how you can circumvent that or how you can persevere through it. And then there's certain areas where I'm like, just don't even do it. It's like, it's just not a fair playing field. That's very few though, very, very few. And number 3, after you've gotten your mindset on money and you're good about that, and you've gone through the principles of data collection and an understanding the environment, like I just talked about. Number 3, you absolutely need to take the mindset on of a business owner, which means you have to be able to confront others and say what needs to be said without sugarcoating things. You have to start getting comfortable with the idea that I'm going into private practice as a business owner who happens to be a PT. So there's my 3 principles for getting started while you're working for somebody else, while you're still a staff therapist. Start engaging some podcasts, some books, and start getting your feet wet with, you know what, I got to invest in me. I got to look at myself. How can I be a better communicator? How can I best confront people on topics that they may not want to hear about, but I can deliver it in manners and with good communication? How or what do I need to look about in my environment to professionally and more advantageously select the actual location for my clinic and whatnot, so that I'm not working against myself. Number 2, and then the very first one I talked about, how can I get over this emotion of money? I need to think with money differently. My advice to you is I do not want to see you use your own money. Let's leverage other people's money. Let's use the bank's money. Money's really cheap. I mean, for less than the price of a Tesla, you can literally open up a private practice and do really, really well. So that's my message in this week's video. I hope you enjoy these YouTube clips. I'm going to keep them short, keep them sweet, keep them to the point, but I'm hoping you walked away with some information that you can actually do something with. That's my hopes for you. And as always, get up each and every day, start your day expecting to do well.